I would like to begin the episode by thanking some of our patrons, like Spoon, Ghostlight Media, Joe Crowell, Ben Quinn, and Joseph A. Rogers. All of these are people who, at some point in the past, went to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and kicked us some money. You can do that too and get a lot of extra content and also help us make these shows. Once again, that is patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. And now we're going to go into the episode, but you're not going to hear the regular music. You're going to hear a special Save Room remix of the WAF theme done by your friend and ours, Banshee Beat.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Resident Evil 3, specifically the remake, which is a survival horror game developed and published by Capcom for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One in 2020.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to keep calling it 3-make.
3-make is easier to say.
For Propane Maniacs reasons.
Yes.
And this episode is our premium episode for the month.
Yeah. Nobody executive produced this one. This is just us.
We did.
Yeah. We decided, hey, we did that last year. We have a premium episode about the 2-make. Why don't we do this one?
Yeah. We knew we were both going to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not on the level. So I got to have an opportunity to talk about it as well. I mean, you know, so, yeah. And, you know, it's a big game, and we both love this series and stuff, so we wanted an opportunity.
Yeah, and also, it's an interesting product that spawned some kind of irritating discourse, and I don't know. Yeah. It'd be fun to get our piece set on this, because I think we're more positive about this than Gen Pop, right?
Yeah, we're going to correct the course a little bit. You know, so if you're one of those people who gets like annoyed when we talk about the reception of games, we'll talk about that a little bit. It's not going to be a nonstop flood of that, but it's hard to separate. Like, that is almost the story for this game. Mm-hmm. You know, in terms of the kind of journalism and the discourse and the public consciousness. Like, the story of this game is the disappointing follow-up.
Yeah, and it is hilarious to me that it also falls into that role when the original 3 did as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though part of the reason why I think this is the disappointing follow-up is that, like, this is probably not as good as the original 3 either.
Right.
It's like, this is a weird, like, video games cannot contend with something being not as good as something else, but also good.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of, I think that if you, you're just getting first principles out there, we're going to get into it at length. But, like, if you approach this on its own terms, it's good. Mm-hmm. Like, is it great? Is it phenomenal? Is it life-changing? No.
Mm-hmm. Is it in the same league as the RE2 remake? No. No, it's not.
No, that was the best game that came out.
That'd be a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, like, of course it doesn't. You know, you can't just keep going up.
Right.
You know, that's how people divorce, because they've already got married and they don't know what else to do. You know, you can't just keep escalating. Right. You know, you have to have like an ebb and flow. Yeah. To things, like, once you've stood up, you can't stand up again. Mm-hmm. You got to sit down. Yeah. You know, I mean, you can jump.
Yeah. No, you can hop onto the strut of a helicopter.
There are a lot of things you can climb.
Right.
This metaphor is working. But
see, that's the thing. At some point, you never abandon a metaphor.
Yeah. Why would you ever abandon a metaphor? So anyway, so we're going to talk about it, and there are things that are wanting in this. So don't think this is going to be. What the thing I want to be careful about is that we're not like something I really dislike in video games criticism, and something I try to avoid is the like be nice to games. And I'm not doing that with this.
No,
it's just also like it's a pretty fun roller coasters, guys. Mm-hmm. Like and it's not. There's just not been a right-sized response to it. I feel like, especially on YouTube. Yeah. Like YouTube is a cottage industry now of like what went wrong, how not to do a remake, how Capcom betrayed us. Like, it's pretty out there.
Yeah, it's so this is not going to be like a full-on rehabilitation or whatever. And I'll cop to you. There's some stuff they cut out of this that I really was hoping to see.
Totally.
Like, this is not necessarily as much of a remake as RE2 Make is. But once my expectations were kind of right-sized and adjusted, I'm like, oh yeah, this is just a really fun action game. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do a lot worse in life than playing a B action game. And then part of it too, like part of the response to this and part of our specific perspective on this, which we're not telling anyone they need to share, is our general approach of rejecting the dollars per hour ratio.
Yes.
So for me, spending the money on this and getting the experience I got out of it, which was playing it twice and having a lot of fun both times.
Yeah.
And getting a multiplayer game that's really interesting that I'm never going to play, is good. Like I feel good about that, but we're not here to tell you what $60 means to you.
No.
But I will say that like, if you listen to this episode and we sell you on it and you wait for a sale, you will if you go into this with the right expectations and treat it as it is, you can have a really good time for like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing can take that away. Fun is real.
Yep. Fun is real. Yeah. So let's jump into it. Like we said, this is a remake of the 1999 a Resident Evil game, Nemesis, and it's pretty much a retelling of that story. A lot of the components are here in some form or fashion. You've got Jill Valentine. She's back here. She is a couple of months off of the Arclay Mansion incident and has been caught up in the Raccoon City outbreak. And she's running from a specially designed bioweapon and working with and kind of against the UBCS, which is Umbrella's special forces, ostensibly sent here to rescue civilians.
Yes, but in secret, combat data.
Oh, combat data, so sweet. That's the sweetest plum, Gary.
You ever seen two guys get into a fight on the street? You just got a big present from the universe and you don't even know it.
Yeah. Like, all you need is a buyer.
Yeah, it's a seller's market when it comes to combat data. I'm gonna go to bars and start tapping people on the shoulder and being like chicken under my breath and stuff until I get some combat data. And then I'm gonna go to retire on it. So the basics of this are pretty similar. There are very important differences, which we're going to go into.
Yeah.
But it's not that dissimilar to the Resident Evil 2 remake, which we've done. So we're not going to spend too much time going over that stuff. Yes. And by what we mean, is the instead of having the Resident Evil 3 fixed camera angles, the cinematic camera angles, and tank controls, we have this fluid, over-the-shoulder, third-person mechanics. You're still mostly exploring spaces, but it controls much more like a conventional slow-paced action game.
Yes.
Almost. Even though it's much more action-focused than the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah, mirroring kind of the jump between the originals, RE3 was, more action-based. It had additional, things that you could do. Jill had kind of worked on her skills in between there. That is reflected here, primarily because, compared to the original, compared to RE2, the one that came out before this, you are not playing as rookies, right? You're not a rookie cop. You're not a college student who got some marksman training from Chris Redfield. You are, a veteran, Jill, Star's agent, who is, this isn't her first rodeo with zombies. And you have Carlos, who is, combat hardened. He's a mercenary,
Yeah, he's Carlos.
Yeah.
big Carlos energy.
Yeah.
And this kind of, this was similar to the Resident Evil 3 original, where it was a little bit more action focused, and they introduced a dodge mechanic through that is good, but kind of fiddly, took a long time to get used to. The dodge mechanic that they've added to the Resident Evil 3 remake is much more intuitive in line with video games and how they play now. It is not as based on, just doing the move is not up for grabs. Like, you can always dodge.
Yeah.
Whereas in 3, it's like you might just aim and get hit.
Yeah. And in the original, there was no like dedicated dodge button. It just required you to hit your fire button at the right time to get out of the way.
So now you have a dodge button, and it introduces this perfect dodge system that's pretty interesting. Where if you get the dodge perfectly, if you time it perfectly, time will slow down, and then if you immediately aim, you will lock on to the weak point of the enemy. So whatever the weak point of that enemy is, you can get in some shots during your bullet time, and this is a good way not only to get an extra damage, but to find out what the weak point of a specific enemy is.
Yes.
It's usually the head, but for some of these Nemesis fights where like anatomy goes out the window, you can kind of see like, oh, this is where I should be shooting. Yeah.
Like, is it the dingus that is covering his heart? Is it his head? Is it this pustule, et cetera, and down the line?
Which pustule?
Right. Yeah. So many pustules to choose from.
Everybody plays this party pustule.
I got party pustules once.
Yeah, I did too. I'll never go back to that birthday party.
It's still going on.
I'll never go back to that birthday party.
Yeah. The eternal birthday party at the center of the universe.
I was talking about the band.
Okay.
But we talked a lot about how good a perfect dodge feels.
Oh yeah. Love it.
Yeah. That's a mechanic we both really like. I prefer it to parrying. Like, I really like the feeling of a perfect dodge.
Yeah. And it works here too. Especially, there are big boss fights that you have with Nemesis where he is really fast and he comes at you and you don't have much of an option but to use one of these dodges to get out of the way.
Yeah. Carlos does not get a dodge. Carlos gets a punch, which the idea is it's a more aggressive version of it. This pushes things back. It's really interesting because instead of dodging away, you want to dodge towards. And it takes a long time to get used to, and I never got good at punching.
No.
I tried, but there's like videos of Carlos just like literally punching hunters to death, and I never got to that point.
No, if that happened, it was by accident.
Yeah, I accidentally punched some hunters. So, like Dick Cheney. But did I say punch?
I mean, shoot and make apologize. I meant shoot and make apologize.
So...
Yeah.
Remember when that guy that we trusted with the country shot his best friend in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good that you have this dodge here because it's replacing a system that was present in RE2. So remember in the RE2 remake, you had knives and you had flash grenades. Basically, these defense weapons that were carried forward from the RE1 remake, this is getting very confusing. In that game, knives had durability, they were disposable, and if a zombie attacked you while you have one of them in your inventory, you could deploy that to get out of the grab, right?
Yeah.
Here, your combat knife is an equipable weapon with infinite durability, so you can use it all the time. You're never left without an attack, but this gets rid of the save. It gets rid of the melee save.
Yeah. Yep. And consequently, so you can do some Resident Evil 4 style, shoot a zombie in the legs and stab them. And if you get grabbed, you're grabbed. Right. Instead of having a defensive item, you tappa to get out a little bit quicker. My
pro tip on this is to go into the options. You can change all of the tappa prompts to holda. And that is much, much better. It is much better. That. Yeah.
Yeah. Tappa sucks.
Yeah. And it's, so you will think, okay, so why am I tapping this or why am I holding it? I filled up the meter, but I still took damage. I still got bit. What you're trying to do is not get bit worse.
Yeah.
So success still looks like failure.
Yeah. My degrees of failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically the rank and file zombies. Like, there are new enemies and such that require different tactics. We're going to talk about that as we get into it. But let's talk about the big kind of headline.
Yeah.
Here. It's in the title. Nemesis.
No, it's not.
It's not, but it was.
Yeah, at one point.
The original version is. Yeah. So let's talk about the Nemesis.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. So, like, Resident Evil 2 original, Mr. X was barely a thing.
Right. He was present
Resident Evil 3
in
original,
the B playthrough. Yeah.
Yeah, just present, but not a big deal, right? Really. Resident Evil 3 original, Nemesis, huge deal. Driver of the story, and driver of the mechanics.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 remake, Mr. X has a bigger presence than any pursuing force has in the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mr. X defines that game.
Yeah.
And then now in Resident Evil 3 Remake, they've dialed it way back.
Mm-hmm.
Nemesis, instead of being this kind of emergent gameplay simulationist stalker, he is a set piece and boss fight character.
Yeah.
Here. And there's a lot of kind of supposition. There's a really good thread from at Jolly Rogers 99, who is one of the people working on Gloomworld, which is one of the games I most anticipate. Worked on
the Dust team. Yeah.
Yeah, Duck's team. Talking about how it's possible that this came out in response to the early response to Mr. X.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten about that. I went and looked up a bunch of, because we played Resident Evil 2 Remake, and we're on the right side of history by immediately being like, fucking Mr. X rules.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you look at articles and such at the time, the initial reaction to Mr. X was like, this ruins the game.
Yeah.
It is too stressful. I want to walk around and solve puzzles. I don't want this. And there's some suspicion that like some of this stuff was changed, because early on in discussions of the Resident Evil 3 Remake, there were things that they said that Nemesis would be able to do that Nemesis cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel like it has been dialed back a little bit as a response to the early response to the genius of the last entry.
Yeah.
A little bit, which is really interesting to see. Like there's a whole lot of discourse around this about like how much devs should listen to design feedback.
Yeah.
And it's just been interesting to see.
Yeah. So it's mildly disappointing, right? And I think that there's something where you really couldn't have Nemesis act as Mr. X in these spaces, So like in the original, you are going around Raccoon City, but really it's just kind of a mansion with wider hallways, It's still a puzzle box space. And having Nemesis kind of pop up while you are moving and trying to get the item that you need to push a little bit further in this direction and crossing that space, instead of having him pop up and be an inconvenience, that's not really gonna happen here. There are kind of like three main areas, but they're relatively small, and they are kind of focused on these more set piece, kind of runs that you end up doing, right?
Yeah. Which ends up turning Mr. X into a kind of a cinematic
ends up
experience.
turning Mr. X or Nemesis.
Or Nemesis, sorry.
Yeah.
Mr. X was a simulationist experience. This is very cinematic.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes for most of the game.
Yeah. Mr. X was in the space. Nemesis is here after you have picked something up, and he is going to chase you back to where you're going to use it.
Yep. Give you a little set piece thing.
Yeah.
To kind of balance this a little bit, Nemesis has more moves. He's much more mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Uses tentacles to kind of zip around. He's got real big Venom energy.
Yeah.
And eventually just turns into Venom.
Right.
Can zip around, can pull you towards him with tentacles. He can use a series of weapons.
Yeah.
And then he does a thing in this that is not in the original version. I'm 99% sure you played the original version recently, which
I played it in the run up to this episode. This is not present.
He makes the regular zombies in the area more dangerous. He gives them a parasite, so they have these tentacle faces that lash at you, and they have this like little mad ball instead of a face that opens up to show their weak spot.
Yeah, they've got their eye and they're like these little mandibles that close over it, and so you have to do a little bit of fancy shooting to get the eye exposed so you can deal with it. This kind of backports the experience of shooting plagas into RE3. Yeah, they
act a lot like plagas with the tentacles coming out and kind of whipping you.
Yeah,
there. These show up a lot in like standard and easy mode. In Nightmare and Inferno, which I poked around at. I didn't get through a whole playthrough because
that's hard.
Freaking hard. They're huge. Like these things are everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it kind of plays into the narrative. The idea of Mr. X strengthening this army.
It kind of implies strengthening this army.
Nemesis, damn it. Yeah, Nemesis. It's going to happen more than once. I apologize, especially now that I've drawn attention to it.
Yeah.
My brain is going to be diseased.
Once we're out of the generalities and we're stopping the comparison, it'll be fine. I will know what you're talking about. I just want to be sure.
Yeah. No. It's so Nemesis going every time he's not on screen pursuing you. It gives context to the times he's like gives up.
Yeah.
Because he's going and he's like, well, let me make these zombies worse because I am all consuming in my goal, and this will also fuck up Jill. So these are neat. Cool new enemy, and the idea of Nemesis infecting these things was a genuine fun surprise.
Yeah. The first time one of these pops up, it is a real delight. And I don't know, I dig it that this emphasizes the fact that Nemesis is a parasite. You know, like as somebody who, you know, like a listener several years back, like sent me that, you know, Umbrella history guide or whatever it is. It's like a strategy guide with all the lore and stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm way into the mechanics of these monsters. Like, I'm invested in the difference between like the T and the C virus and the G virus and stuff.
Yeah.
To see them actually acknowledge, like, oh yeah, it's the NE type parasite. Sweet. And he can use that to deploy it. Okay, to deploy other parasites. Yeah, all right, cool. Like, I'm down for this.
Cole, this is just a gateway drug to you being generally interested in the differences between letters. And that cannot stand.
Yep. Oh, you start by adding virus at the end of anything, and then all of a sudden, 2 years later, you're sitting here and saying, "Hey, Gary, have you ever considered that V? It's fucking crazy. Like, and you like, consider that an X is just two V's like set on top of each other, and a W is two V's right next to each other. All letters is V's, carrot? Man.
Yeah.
All letters is
like
V's.
An A is an upside down V when you think about it.
Yeah, but you
cool.
don't think about it.
Very good, Cole.
as you raise a pistol in the back of my head.
Well done, Cole. Yeah, we're gonna go to a farm with all the letters. They're all gonna be there, buddy. E-I-E-I-O.
Oh Jesus! So I like this from a lore perspective as well.
Yeah. No. This is great.
Right.
This is super cool.
Yeah.
Similar to the original, you can fight him sometimes.
That's fun. I like it.
Yeah. Only worth doing the first 2 times, but it is fun. It's a nice little like ammo check and dodge challenge.
Mm-hmm. Dodge
that pops up.
Yes.
Dodge, which is a dodge challenge for my I just came up with.
Yeah.
See, I don't care about the differences between letters.
No. It's all one big orgy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is great. The first 2 times it's really worth it. You get meaningful upgrades,
and then you just get like red herb.
Yeah, you get ammo, and it's kind of like, well, I use that to fight him.
Yeah.
But it is a fun challenge.
Yeah, he also like ceases to be a thing. You know, once you get past like the middle of the game, like once you fight him in the plaza, you know.
Yeah, he becomes a boss fight. Like he becomes the perpetual boss fight, and becomes cinematic, which narratively follows just fine. Gameplay wise, it loses something here for sure.
Yeah.
Like there are well-designed areas in the second half of this game. Specifically, I think the hospital is a great dungeon.
Yes.
I think that the early part of this where he is relentless and you're in the city is probably the strongest part of it.
And that's also the case in the original too. You know, like everybody remembers the first part of this. I like the clock tower, but like after the clock tower, when you get to the hospital and you know, nobody is like singing the praises of the water treatment facility. Right.
I love Dead Factory, dude.
Dead Factory is good.
Dead Factory.
I mean, Dead Factory is a good dungeon. Don't get me wrong, but people aren't necessarily singing its praises because Nemesis isn't coming after you there, you know?
Yeah. Yep. It just kind of becomes a Resident Evil space.
Yes. Yeah. Specifically in the clock tower, which is just, you know, back to that flavor. Like, you know, I alluded to this earlier, but this is not necessarily as faithful of a remake as RE2 was. There are not really spaces that are brought over to this, you know, faithfully. Granted, I don't think that there's any space in the original RE3 that is as beloved as the, you know, RCPD Great Hall and First Floor are in RE2. So there's nothing that they could have brought over. But yeah, this is, you know, they cut things away. They expand certain other things. And when I say this is not a faithful remake, that's kind of just a neutral statement. Don't take that as like me damning it.
Yeah. Like there are things that are definitive kind of cuts.
Yes.
Right. So originally they had planned to have the branching path system. There are early interviews that talk about that, and they talked about how they had to cut it. That's a bummer.
Yep. I like that.
I like that. Me too. And then they cut that clock tower dungeon. You know, it's a little Easter egg. It's a background for a boss fight instead of a dungeon itself. And pacing wise, the game could have used that. Right there, like a rich internal space, you know, maybe 12 or 13 rooms, you know, nothing too big, but that the game really could have used that. It does feel a little cut.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if I don't think they actually made it, and it literally got cut.
Yeah.
But it does feel like there is something missing there.
Yeah. And there's something very strange that happens with the pace where, the opening, so basically the opening 5 minutes of this elides the first hour of the original RE3, which is nuts. And even though both of these games, the remake and the original are, 6 hours ish. I think the original's a little bit longer. I think it took me like 7 hours to get through this most recent time because I was going around looking for things to compare. Even though these are similarly lengthed, somebody who is familiar with the original will play this, and after like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, they'll say, geez, fuck, I'm already at the hospital. Like that's like a little mini dungeon 2/3 of the way through the original. So, it kind of creates this little like, whoa, where did all that time go kind of sentiment in you.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I beat this in one sitting. Like I just sat down and did it.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily recommended or anything, but I was surprised when I was like, oh, I'm at the end.
Yeah.
It does feel quick. So the idea here behind not having the branching path, behind cutting some of this stuff, was to have a more cohesive story.
Yeah.
And this includes things like the Gravedigger boss, the gigantic worm, that got cut. There's concept art for it that you can find.
Yeah.
But it's not there.
And I can see that. It's a little strange to have a non-Nemesis boss in a game where all of the bosses are Nemesis.
Yeah, it'd be weird. Like you could have him riding the worm,
of
but
course,
like Beetlejuice. Like that would be cool. But it's something that has not happened. So it goes quick. It does have a more cohesive story, though. One of the ways that we'll talk about this, we'll get to this, is that I do think that this, in terms of a cinematic game, is like that's a hard nut for me to crack. I don't like.
It's something you buck against. Yeah.
It's something I buck against pretty hard. And because I have investment in these characters and these ideas and this world, and because of the general quality of it, this really works for me as such. Like things that I would be annoyed by if I didn't care about the context, like chase sequences that are scripted and I just have to press one button. Those are annoying to me. Like I don't have to be here for this. But I was okay sitting back and watching a barely interactive movie for a little bit because I care about Jill and I think Nemesis is cool.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So, you can be invested for different reasons.
Yes. Yeah. You have to shift that expectation. The nod towards replay in this is kind of interesting.
I like this. So I played this game 3 times. So I did 2 runs without really engaging with the challenge or bonus system. And then when I replayed it for the show, I did do this. So what happens in the game is you have achievement like challenges, and you can look at these in the menu. And it says, just like, hey, here's what's required of it. Go after it here. When you beat those, you get a special currency that you can use on the main menu to add different items into your item box. From things like little stat token upgrade, or stat upgrade tokens, like you got in the Crocodile Hunter RE7 DLC, End of Zoe. Yeah, there we go. Or like the one that I used for this was an infinite ammo pistol, right? Yeah. Just you could, as I was going through the game, I just wanted to hit the story beats and chart exactly what happened so I could make the notes. I invested in that in order to make that a little bit easier for me. Ended the game with tons of ammo. You're also, if you play this game regularly, going to end it with tons of ammo. But it helped.
Yeah. And these are significant too. Yeah. And so I did my second playthrough with the damage token.
Oh yeah.
Instead of infinite ammo, and you 2 headshots kills a zombie in it, as opposed to like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And you can stack these. You can buy 2 of them. And they're really interesting trade-offs because you have to keep them in your inventory. So you're basically trading expansion packs or fanny packs for stat upgrades.
Yeah.
In addition, you can sequence break by getting certain optional items early. So one of the things you can buy from the store is just straight up like the bolt cutters, which you need to play the game.
Yeah.
To get into certain areas. So instead of having to hunt for that, you can just start with it and hit the ground running.
Yeah. You can get the shotgun way earlier than you otherwise would.
Shotgun. Yeah. You can get the lockpick early on and start with that. Like, it's really neat. Like, it is a neat system. There's a unique weapon. It's a knife that sets everything on fire that it touches. And then the infinite rocket launcher and all the kind of standard replay Resident Evil items are in there as well. It's interesting to tie those into points as opposed to difficult achievements.
Yes.
Because the idea, typically is like you could always unlock these things way after you'd ever need them. Like I can beat, you beat Resident Evil 3 in 2 hours without saving, and then you get an item that makes it so you can never worry again.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, am I going to play again? Like I've already accomplished the challenge
Yes.
of this. In this one, since you're doing points, it's like you can do a little bit of, I got all these points. I did all of these, these Chivos or what have you. I'm going to buy the infinite rocket launcher when I might be able to, want to use it when the game still presents some kind of challenge to me. And nothing really presents that much challenge with that kind of weapon, but you can get like a super weapon when it still counts.
Yes. Yeah. It's a neat system. That adds, interest to the, to replaying again. Additionally, like it can give you some, legs up if you decide to engage with the harder difficulty levels. Something worth noting is that, I think, what is it, like hardcore and nightmare are the two really difficult ones. They do, enemy shuffles at the very least. I believe they do item shuffles as well. It does like a little rearrange mode.
I know they do enemy shuffles, and the enemy shuffles are incredibly hostile.
Yeah, like lickers everywhere.
Yeah, like lickers where there are not lickers. There are, and again, a lot of zombies are replaced by those parasite zombies.
Yeah, it does change the item locations, and also it restricts your inventory more. The pickups that you get, the fanny packs that you festoon yourself with, are a little bit more rare.
Eventually become a Rob Liefeld.
Yeah. And kind of like, not the original, fuck man. All of this gets so complicated to talk about. Kind of like the RE2 remake, assisted mode is actually really, really fun if you just want to explore this space and not necessarily engage with zombies that will fall over 3 times before they get back up.
Yeah, it becomes an action game and not a survival game.
Yeah, to the point where you start with an assault rifle, which normally only Carlos gets to use.
Yeah. So it's fun. The soundtrack is good. And the game looks amazing.
Yes.
I love what Capcom does with these spaces. I think that the city, part of the reason when I first started playing this and I was surprised at the negative reaction was I was just having such a good time being in this space. It looks really good.
Yeah.
It's a good looking Raccoon City. And the soundtrack is great. Yeah.
The soundtrack is incredibly good. Man, like just a little subheader into the visuals here. The signage, Gary.
Oh man. Well, we're going to talk about a lot of that in the episode.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to, I wanted to put a little banner here about those banners. Cause, boy, oh boy. I mean, like this is a period piece, like this is, takes place in 1998. So you get some real good signage. And
like, what is more fun than like being in a video game and seeing what they have instead of soda? Like that like there's like a couple, there's like a Tumblr, like a video game vending machine Tumblr, I think.
Yeah, it's like an Instagram account or something. Yeah.
It's very fun. Like I love that kind of shit. And then like it allows you to like face deep questions within yourself, like whether you're a Safsprin or an Aquacure kind of guy.
Oh, Aquacure for life, man.
I'm a Safsprin.
What?
I love that Safsprin.
God damn you, Gary.
I like how it's it just sounds like a safer aspirin to me. Yeah.
You never used to play it safe.
Yeah, I know. Well, Cole, as you get older, you'll become more of a Safsprin guy.
Aquacure
and
for
also
life.
Aquacure, I don't know what that does.
It seems to be made for ladies. So.
Yeah, it's made for horny men to buy for their ladies.
I think it's a sport drink, actually.
Aquacure?
Maybe, I don't know.
There is a sports drink in the game. I can't remember the name of it right now. Yeah, it's all pretty fun, and they have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
in this game,
and just
it's full of Easter eggs too, like Capcom Easter eggs. Which as a Capcom fan is fun for me.
Oh yeah. Like even like in Jill's apartment, like all the stickers and stuff that she has are like oblique Capcom references. It just, man, like if you have a surface and you can put a fun sign on it, I don't know, put a fun sign on it.
Well, it's not only does it accomplish like density of interest, but it's also just makes the world feel really real. Like you walk around, like you ever do one of those things that they talk about doing where you like take a walk and you count how many brands you see? and it's like, oh, I walked, to the store and I saw 170.
Yep.
It's always some number that you're just like, Jesus Christ. And that's before you get into the store.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere. And it just makes the world feel realer.
Yeah.
This is a fun space to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So talking about the visuals, I think that we can talk about the animations and just kind of the character models and performances. Just like the RE2 remake, these are really good. Jill's characterization in this, like funny Jill, is incredibly good. Nikolai is villainous in a way that is far more broad, but also relatable here than he is when you can barely understand what he's saying in RE3 and Nemesis because of the audio mixing.
Well, and the dialogue sounds real.
Yeah.
It's just localized in a way that, it ever since RE7, when they started kind of paying more attention to that kind of scripting.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound out of place as much.
Yeah.
Also, this makes me like Carlos. Carlos is really weirdly likable in this. And I didn't dislike Carlos before.
Oh, he's such a nothing in the original.
Yeah. And now he's very likable. It's semi-romantic, but it's also just this weird mutual respect kind of thing that is fun. Tyrone's real good.
Oh, Tyrell, yeah.
Or Tyrell rather. Yeah. Everyone's really likable who needs to be likable. And that's hard to do, and they're not likable because they're, outsized and super quirky. They're just, seem like good people trying their best, a lot of the time. Yeah. It's a nice thing to be in this kind of bleak environment.
Yeah. They are all competent and looking out for each other while still having their own, kind of interest in the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the bigger cuts they did that is a bummer because they cut mercenary mode.
Right.
They did something else instead of it, which is really interesting and not for me. I watched a bunch of games of it today.
I did the tutorials for them, and I was like, dang, if I had 4 people who I knew had this on PC and could run it, and we could get a time scheduled, and then already I'm being like, whoa.
That's gaming, man.
Yeah.
That's multiplayer gaming. It's it just sounds exhausting, but it is so neat sounding.
Yeah. Resident Evil Resistance, which weirdly was announced first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was announced first, when it was put on these lists of things that were going to be brought up at that event. People are like, oh, this is going to be RE3. They announced RE Resistance, and everybody kind of scratched their heads because, well, what the hell is this? And then when they announced RE3, they announced it as the single player mode of RE Resistance. Very strange.
Yeah. Very strange. Yeah. This is in the grand scheme of asymmetrical multiplayer games. Like your Left 4 Dead or your Friday the 13th.
Friday's the 13th, please.
There are 4 survivors, and you were up against, because Umbrella, you see, wanted to get some combat data.
It's really all they have. It's the only thing that gets them up in the morning.
Yeah. And the links they go to in this is to kidnap teens plus Jill and run them through murder mansions and murder locations they've created, where the 4 characters have different abilities, but the 4 masterminds also have specialties.
Yeah.
And they watch on security cameras and deploy traps and shit.
Yeah.
And monsters and things. And this is the coolest looking shit I've ever seen, again, for somebody who isn't me.
So there are single player ones. You can do a run of this as a single player.
Yeah, I saw about that today. I'm gonna fuck around a little bit. I've had I like our Left 4 Dead single player quite a bit, but I find that a lot of times for these things they're not fun. I'm gonna do it to also crawl through the environments because one of them is a horror museum.
Yeah,
fucking A. That's so cool. There's no way I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So.
And it's neat, we recorded something else today where we talked a little bit about Resident Evil Outbreak. But I like those games, and the cast of characters that you have for the survivors that all have their own kind of stats and special abilities feels very directly pulled from that in a way that it doesn't feel directly pulled from Operation Raccoon City or any of those other really bad attempts to bring RE to multiplayer, right? And there's weird lore kind of stuff. I don't know, the fact that your masterminds include Alex Wesker and Oswald Spencer is really interesting to me.
Yeah, and they each have these special abilities where they can send in a monster. Annette Birkin sends in her husband, which you can then control.
Yep.
That's fun. Like controlling Resident Evil boss sounds super fun.
Yeah.
And they each have specialties in a way that, like, you know, I've been watching, I fell back into a competitive Left 4 Dead hole of watching it. And I love asynchronous multiplayer. Like, I love unbalance in games in a general sense. And the idea that there's this little element of expressive play to this, like if you play as Oswald Spencer, your moves are all about delay. Yeah. You know, because Oswald Spencer designed the mansion, and that's full of puzzles and traps and stuff.
Excuse me, it was Trevor who designed the mansion. He lived in the mansion.
Is Oswald Mansion lived in the mansion.
Lived in the Spencer, yes.
But his things are all about delay, so he like sets up force fields and shit. Yeah. To like trap you in rooms so he can, like, you know, toy with you longer and delay you.
And like Annette powers up you know, just kind of the regular rank and file undead who are out there.
Yeah. Really cool. Very interesting. I'm going to do the single player playthrough of it again, just to check out these environments, because I love how Capcom's doing that these days. Yeah. And check out some lore shit. And, you know, maybe someday I'll get into the multiplayer enough to try it, but that's so many tasks and I'm so tired.
I just do if it involves a calendar, I don't know. I already do a lot of that.
Yeah. Can you imagine coordinating games with your friends? I do that once a week. Yeah. And I have to sleep for 6 days afterwards. So,
let's talk about the development here. So, you know, when this was announced, people were like, okay, that's weird. Okay. Like, that's coming out a year after. Maybe they really rushed the development. No, actually, the game began being developed in 2016, 1 year after the RE2 remake was approved and before the RE2 remake was even announced.
Yeah.
So, like, this has been kind of in the oven for a while.
Yes. Yeah. Some of the personnel was brought forward with this. A lead programmer from the original, Kiyohiko Sakota, as well. And then several people who were involved, including M2, which is the studio founded by the ex-CEO of Platinum.
Yes. Yeah, so it was kind of all hands on deck. Like RE Resistance was developed by another studio and kind of thrown in. I couldn't find an awful lot of like kind of interesting development trivia here. The most interesting thing to me was that the development overlapped, so there couldn't really be a postmortem between one and the other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like most of the stuff that they said was, oh, we focused on giving Raccoon City a new look. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, all right. Yeah. you would probably have to do that. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And successful at that element for sure, to my mind. So as we mentioned before, this game kind of got middling reviews. And then on the YouTube sphere, where middling reviews means how Capcom hates your guts. You know, Capcom thinks customers are suckers, but we're gamers and we know better.
The new EA.
The new Konami. Yeah. You know, so it's full of that kind of garbage. You know, and for some reasons are justified in terms of, again, like, I want to make sure that I'm not bearing the lead here. Like, this is like a B game. Like, this is a real fun little roller coaster. Yeah. It is not Resident Evil 2. It's not Resident Evil 7. Yeah. You know, it is a fun little interstitial. The thing I keep seeing a lot that I agree with is that if this was a expansion pack for Resident Evil 2, people would have been blown out of the water. Yeah,
and like that's kind of what I wanted to put into the summation or whatever. But I think that there's just a certain failure of expectation setting that happens here. Yes. If this was a $40 edition and was marketed as, you know, a sidecar to RE2, and they sold RE Resistance separately for $20, people would have bought both and felt good about doing it, even though they spent the same amount of money. Yeah. I think that, you know, just the question nowadays of what constitutes a full game, you know, kind of brings out just kind of a really combative, you know, a combative stripe in people, understandably, because, you know, people's personal resources are limited, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's raised a lot of interesting questions. Yeah. About this. For my perspective, if they did one of these, like if they just did this a year, like I would eventually get disappointed, but I would play each one and probably have a good time. Yes. You know, there are hints in this, both of our Code Veronica remake and a Resident Evil 4 remake. We've hence found out that Resident Evil 8, codenamed Village, is going to draw from Resident Evil 4, right? Am I getting my rumors correct?
Okay, so you are confusing two rumors. So
Okay.
Resident Evil 8 Village, that is going to continue the RE7 timeline.
Gotcha.
And it's going
they're
to,
doing a Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yes, it has mostly been confirmed that M2 is working on an RE4 remake due to particular leaks that happened shortly after RE3 came out. Basically, I think like a week after we recorded that What If episode, talking about how cool a Code Veronica remake would be. So,
Fuckers.
I know, right?
They screwed us again.
They went the wrong direction.
Getting rat fucked by Capcom. I'm going to big YouTube.
Yep, I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to all that stuff we said about trusting Capcom out the window. This is not their new renaissance. Fuck these guys.
Yeah. It's so weird that Resident Evil 8, the Village one, because that clearly takes aesthetics from like the teaser images and stuff from RE4, and then also doing an RE4 remake. Also, as somebody, I just wrapped up an RE4 replay. I'll repeat what we said in that teaser episode or that preview episode, conjecture episode, is that Resident Evil 4 doesn't need a remake. That game's fucking perfect. I'll play it because I want to, I like being in holy spaces, and these, the first 4 Resident Evil games, these are all holy spaces to me.
Yes.
But I'm less interested in that than almost anything else they could do.
Here's my litmus test. Here's how I will know whether or not the RE4 remake is going to succeed or fail. There needs to be an egg in the oven, but Leon cannot comment on it. It can't be what are they doing?
Oh, yeah.
Why did they put an egg in the oven? Like when you're escaping that one house and there's an egg in the oven.
Yeah. I was thinking of the oven that the zombie escapes from.
No.
And they just and I was confused because you're like, there has to be an egg there and Leon can't talk about it. And it's getting very specific.
I'm talking about a very specific oven and a very specific egg. It's just a weird
I was just thinking of the most prominent oven in Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
A game of notable ovens, the notable oven tag on IMDb.
Yeah, the egg, the oven, and the presence or lack of comment from Leon is going to be my brown M&M.
It's going to be incredibly tough for them to catch that tone.
Yeah,
in this new kind of MCU-ified, let's take these silly things seriously.
I don't know. I kind of wonder if they put in the toy uncle head just to prepare us for Salazar Bot. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Because there is some silliness to this, but the characters are all the way that Resident Evil 4, how Leon gets. It's not just the silliness of the gigantic Salazar bot.
No,
it's you're small time. Yo, Leon. It's him and Sadler's.
And that's, that is so essential to it. And I don't see how specifically RE2 makes Leon can become that.
It'd be really weird.
Yeah.
It would happen gradually. It'd be like a frog in a pot of boiling water, as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And then Resident Evil Code Veronica would it be all fucking, which makes sense because the Ashfords are silly as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just pure silliness. Uwu Becky Rebecca Chambers and Resident Evil 0 remake would be full on nyan uwu. And make me want to die.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our generalities portion of this episode. We're going to get into it. If you're hearing this right now, you are on the free feed. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
If you would like to hear the entire episode, you can join us at Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, $5 a month gets you this episode and every one of these premium episodes we've done. And if you pledge and then stop, it's okay with us.
Yes.
We know money's tight.
Take a look at the offerings. We designed it for you to do just that. So.